Alright, let's get into something that's been bugging me for a while. This whole myth of good woman, the perfect saint-like woman who does it all, who cooks, cleans, stays silent, and is always ready to please. You know that one, right? She's supposed to be everything to everyone, always giving, never asking for too much, just quietly playing her role, waiting for the man's validation. It's the story that we've all been fed for generations. But I'm here to tell you, it's time to stop believing it. This myth is not only outdated, it's harmful. It traps us in a cycle of constantly seeking approval and measuring our worth against someone else's standards. And let's be real, it's exhausting. Today I'm breaking it down. Why the good woman myth is built on unrealistic expectations, how it holds us back from fully owning our power, and most importantly, why we need to stop proving our worth to men. Let's start where this myth came from. For centuries, women were told their value was tied to their roles. From a young child, they are told, be a good wife, be a good mother, be a good caretaker. If you didn't fulfill these roles, you were seen as less than. Your worth was determined by how well you serve others, especially men. Think about it. From the moment we were born, we were conditioned to perform. We were taught to be polite, to be pleasing, to be good. Good girls don't speak out of turn. Good girls don't keep their opinions to themselves. Good girls stay humble. But here's the thing, being a good woman according to society standards means putting everyone else's needs above your own. It's about molding yourself to fit a script that was never meant to serve you. It's about silencing your own voice, hiding your own power, and keeping your dreams small just to make someone else comfortable. But why do we do it? Why do we keep performing? We do it because society conditions women with the pressure to be perfect. Let's get into the pressure that comes with trying to be the perfect woman. We are bombarded with messages everywhere telling us that to be valuable, you have to be in a certain way. They tell you to get a man, everything you see on social media now, to get a man, do these things. Women, do these things. You go to wedding receptions, women, hold your home. We are told we should be nurturing, but not too emotional. Sexy, but not too forward. Independent, but always available. Strong, but never aggressive. It's this endless juggling act that leaves us feeling drained and disconnected from our own desires, our own identity. The pressure to constantly prove ourselves as the perfect woman to others, especially men, keeps us stuck in this loop of self-doubt. And let's not even talk about the comparison game. Social media makes it even worse. You scroll through your feed and see these perfect women, carefully curated posts that show them living their best lives, looking flawless, being adored by their men. But here's the truth. That perfect woman you see on Instagram does not exist. It's a highlight reel. It's a facade. And yet, we keep thinking we have to live up to it. And worse, this pressure doesn't just come from social media. It's rooted in our religion and in the traditional roles women often are told to play. Let's talk about the role religion plays in this. From a very young age, women are often taught to be subservient, to submit in relationships, to always put others first, especially men. Religion paints this picture of the ideal good woman who is constantly serving, supporting, sacrificing. Women are told that our value is in how well we support our husbands, their families, and how obedient they are to authority. But where does this leave us? It leaves us lost in the shuffle of constantly giving without receiving. It leaves us feeling like we are less than if we don't fit into this mold. And here's the kicker: no one is holding men to the same standard. Men don't face the same pressure to be perfect, to be selfless, to be humble in the same way we do. There's no societal expectation for them to prove their worth by constantly serving others. Instead, we get these teachings and these content creators who act like our job is to become worthy of a man's love, to keep proving ourselves and to always keep it together. We are constantly being told, if you want to bag a man, you need to do this. Everything you see on social media, if you need to get a man, you need to act like this to keep him. All these rules, all these do's and don'ts, and never any conversation about the men and their responsibility in relationships or their role in contributing to a healthy dynamic. Why are we never told to just be ourselves? Why is it always about how we should change or act to attract men? Why is no one talking about men needing to step up and meet us where we are? This myth keeps us small, women. The good woman myth keeps us small. It keeps us second guessing ourselves, questioning if we are doing enough, and wondering if we are truly deserving of love, respect, and everything we want out of life. But the truth is, we have been taught to define our worth based on someone else's approval, usually a man's approval, and that's a problem. When we are constantly measuring our value by external standards, whether it's a man's attention, a man's approval, or a man's validation, we lose sight of our own power. We forget that our worth isn't up for negotiation. You see, the problem with always trying to prove ourselves to men is that we start losing sight of who we really are. We sacrifice our authenticity to fit into a box that was never meant for us. And guess what? The box is too small. The more we try to fit into this small mold, the more we shrink. We dim our lights just to make others comfortable. And here's the real tea: we don't need to prove anything. So, how do we stop this cycle? How do we break free from the myth of the good woman? It starts with owning your value. It's time to stop measuring ourselves by what other people, especially men, think of us. Your worth is not defined by how well you fit into someone's expectations. Your worth is inherent and it has nothing to do with how much you give or how little you ask. I'm talking about stepping into your power and owning every single part of yourself, flaws and all. It's about loving yourself first without needing validation from anyone else. It's about knowing that you are enough just as you are. When you stop trying to fit into someone else's idea of what you should be, you create space to fully step into what you truly are. You get to decide what your value is. You start to set the standard for how you want to be treated, and you get to choose your own path without seeking permission or approval. Real talk. Stop trying to prove yourself. At the end of the day, you don't need to prove yourself to anyone, especially not to a man. Let's get into these traits. Being a good woman doesn't mean staying quiet when you're upset or hiding your dreams to make someone else feel better. It doesn't mean sacrificing your needs or desires just to keep the peace. A good woman is a woman that knows her worth. She doesn't need to hustle for love or chase validation. She's already worthy. She's already enough. I need you to hear me. You are not here to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to bend over backwards or twist yourself in a pretzel to get someone's approval. When we stop trying to prove ourselves, we create space for real love, for real respect and for real partnerships without all the unnecessary drama. So here's my challenge to you. Let go of the good woman myth. Stop measuring your worth by someone else's standards. Be the good woman who defines her own value, who owns her own space, and who doesn't apologize for living life on their own terms. You are enough just as you are. You don't need to prove it to anyone. So let me know, are you ready to stop performing and start living? Drop a comment and let's talk about it. Remember, stand tall, be bold, own your story. You are the main character of your own life. Remember to like, subscribe, and put on post notifications so you don't miss out on any video.